Separating.
Yeah.
So, everybody, this is a completely unplanned live, but you know what? These election results coming in tonight are too important to not come together for Brian and I and Kenny and just really give you our perspective on some breaking news. And as we think about what we want to do with this YouTube and what we're creating here, it's really about giving you the perspective of things, of all things political, of all things in our society and culture that's Black, Brown, and LGBTQ plus, the intersectionality of the communities that we represent and how we come to you to give you updates and just commentary. Tonight, it looks as though we are having a big night for Democrats in the United States of America. And not just Democrats in terms of individuals, but Democrats in terms of the issues they really care about, they really campaigned on, and they've really worked hard to bring consensus for the American people to show that they represent the American people. And so, Brian, I'm actually pretty surprised because some of the things haven't gone the way that I thought they would go. And that's, for me, a good thing. Anything so far that you've seen that's just been like shocking?
Well, I will say tonight was a great night for Democrats, and I'm going to say exactly what I mean by that. So, number one, the Democratic governor wins re-election in Kentucky. That was Andy Beshear. You had Democrat win the state Supreme Court race in Pennsylvania. Democrat hold the state Senate and flip the House of Delegates in Virginia. Democrats win both ballot issues in Ohio, which we knew that was recreational marijuana and also the abortion issue, Ohio issue number 1 that just passed. So I think one of the things that this really demonstrates is, and Simone Sanders just put this out on MSNBC. She said a lot of people tonight owe Joe Biden an apology. This whole mentality of Democrats are not having the stronghold, or not having the messaging in the right way, or not doing this and not doing that. Like, yes, there's more to be done. But what her point was is that one of the things that we're winning on is policy. When we put forth our policy and we have specific people who are in specific places putting out, like Kentucky's a red state. I don't care what anybody says. Kentucky is a red state. And for us to have the Democrat win re-election by the margin that they won, for Ohio to have the abortion on the ballot, and for it to be written, I think that was reported as well. The way that it was written shows that it was up to 9 months of, having that abortion, and it was written that way, and people were still not deterred from voting in the way that Republicans thought that they would vote. This is a great night for Democrats. And this is, by the way, an off-year election cycle. This is not where the president is on the ballot. We're just going to, you know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be 10 times bigger when we see the president on the ballot. That's what people care about. That's what people are going to come out and vote for.
Yeah. I pulled up. Yeah, you're right. And this is what made this abortion ballot so interesting. And I pulled it up because I didn't have time to go through and make like the pre-made clips, but I'm like, it's not necessary. Like, people want the breaking news on breaking news night. The Ohio ballot measure 1 prevented the restricting of abortion access before fetal viability. That means that up until 22 to 24 weeks of pregnancy. So a woman has a right to bodily autonomy and to make a choice that's right for her life and her family up until then, based upon how this bill passed. In addition to that, after viability, you are still allowed access to the abortion if it puts the life of the mother in danger. And that's different than, unfortunately, a number of these draconianly horrible laws that exist in other states, where a woman's right to not only bodily autonomy and reproductive freedom is at risk, but a woman's right to her own life is at risk based upon the bills that Republicans have passed. So I agree with you. This is, I don't know if I'm shocked by what happened in Ohio, but I'm definitely glad. So you're
Again,
saying that, yeah, in quoting, yeah.
Every single time that abortion has been put on the ballot, we've demonstrated that the right for bodily autonomy prevails. And this is a losing issue for Republicans, and they consistently want to run on it. They consistently want to say that they want to move forward with a national abortion ban. Because remember, that's what the argument used to be, right? The argument used to be that we should bring it to the states and let the states decide, who's going to make that decision or whatever. states are making the decisions right now, and now they're moving it and, you know, coming to a place where they're saying, let's do a national abortion ban. And this is a losing issue for Republicans. I don't know why they consistently, you know, and continuously try to move forward on that. You know, I don't know what their end goal is. It's just a losing thing. Oh, and Kayleigh McEnany was just now on Fox News talking about the fact that polls don't mean a damn thing. You know, I'm paraphrasing, but what she said was Republicans need to understand as a party that polls don't equal a good poll does not equal a resounding victory at the polls. And I'm like, finally, you're saying the quiet part out loud, because that's what they do, right? These Republicans spend so much money on flooding the airwaves with all these polls to demonstrate that the Democratic candidate has no right or no viable opportunity to win, and then it suppresses the vote. That's not a winning strategy anymore.
I'm trying to get in the damn camera frame. You know, I'm still, you know, Brian, you are, you know, the younger person here, and you do know a lot more about technology, although you act so old, whereas I act so young, but my age definitely comes across when it comes to like technology.
Let me clear this up.
That's unfortunate.
Too. Let me clear this up. I'm 27 years old. I was born in 1996. Now, for the people down in the comments, I keep saying that because people did not believe. People were like, "Oh my God!"
No, I know. People think you were born in 1986. People are so disrespectful. Like, Brian, you don't look old, but people think that you're older than you are because of the way that you act and what you say.
That's true. That's true. I told
you
them.
do have an old ass soul. You have an old soul. This motherfucker has. I mean, oops. This man has an old soul. He has an old soul. Now he does. Brian listens to Anita Baker, Frankie Beverly and Mays in his car, okay, to get hype. So let's not pretend that you don't act old, but you are a young man.
Yeah,
and you don't look old. You don't look old.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Don't feel like a fossil. I will not tell you on this podcast how old I am, but I just had a birthday, and I feel 25, but you could add a couple tens to that if you wanted to. So don't feel like a fossil. I'm old too. Okay, older. I'm older. Here's the thing, Brian. One thing that you said that I think was really good to talk about is when you're saying people owe Joe Biden an apology. Do people owe Joe Biden an apology, or is it the fact that we let those 20? What did I say? What's my quote? What is the quote I made about Twitter?
You said 20 motherfuckers on Twitter ain't shit, which is true.
So what we're doing is we allow 20 people on Twitter who don't like Joe Biden, who say, well, I am not voting for Joe Biden under any circumstances, make us think that there's a whole massive amount of people out there who aren't going to support President Biden's reelection campaign. You see those same 20 people on TikTok, you know, because they're like, it's Genocide Joe. It's the end of the world. Like, nothing matters more than, you know, a free Palestine, and President Biden coming out saying that he demands a ceasefire. And if he doesn't do that, then, oh my God, he's the worst person ever and shouldn't be president. This is what some progressives and people are saying. But tonight was a clear referendum that what the Democratic Party, the establishment Democratic Party, the liberal majority of the Democratic Party right here in this country want to happen, and what they support for the American people, is the will of the people. Democrats have long fought for a woman's right to bodily autonomy, and tonight the people, like you said, no ballot measure has failed that supports what this is. Every state, when they put it to vote, is passed that women should have that right to make that choice that's best for themselves and their family. And we not only have that happening in Ohio, but we saw it also happening in Virginia, where they were going to circumvent the people and not put it on the ballot, let it get passed by the state legislature, and they lost handily. Democrats picked up seats in that state's Senate and in that state's House that directly says that the people of Virginia are not in favor of the agenda of Governor Youngkin. So personally, I think that he's in danger come his time for re-election. I think this is all really good news. And I do think, I don't know if people owe Biden an apology. I just think that I think that we are allowing we're allowing the people that dislike Biden to have way too much influence, way too much power, and way too much say, period.
Well, and Simone Sanders, in the context that she said it, and she was like, I was on some panels, and she's talking about particularly on media, particularly on MSNBC. She was like, I was on some panels where people were saying XYZ and all of this stuff. And I understand where she was coming from. I think the reality of the situation is that, number one, we've been saying this all the time. We can't listen to polls. We can't listen to, all this doom and gloom from people on TikTok. Because like you're saying, Zach, you're absolutely correct. The shit does not translate. The shit does not translate. My question always comes down to, who are you influencing, right? Like, who are these people influencing? Like, these people are coming on and just saying Genocide Joe for the clicks, virality, and the views, but they're not doing civic engagement in real life. So that's my biggest thing, because I'm like, y'all not voting. But here's the other part of it is, I asked myself the question, what exactly is changing? Because this is, again, these numbers of people coming out to vote and voting for policy wins for the Democrats, like, for it to be an off year and for us to have these great numbers, there's something changing. There's some messaging. There's some people. I mean, we're coming out more, right? And I say we.
Say it again. This is an off year. This is not a presidential election year. This is not a year when Senate seats are up. This isn't a year when House of Representatives seats are up. This isn't a year when the national parties have put real money into these campaigns, and you're still seeing high numbers of people turning out to vote.
And you're seeing that, I think it was in Kentucky. There was millions of more dollars put into ad buys from the Republican side. And that shit still did not, do anything for the Republicans. I will say, Andy Bashir came out on when he won, and he came onto the stage and he was saying, we were against Mitch McConnell's super PAC money. We were against all these Republican super PACs. And they were still not able to, I think the people are still the people are trying to see through, or starting to see through, the bullshit. Here's what I will also say, and I don't think a lot of people are saying this, and I think this on two fronts. Number one, I think this whole thing that happened with the House had a lot to do with this, right? The fact that we were without a Republican Speaker of the House, that because they decided they wanted, Matt Gaetz decided to put the motion forward to vacate and have Kevin McCarthy be removed, and 3 weeks of them not having anybody, like that chaos of 24-hour news cycles coming out and saying Republicans can't govern, really changed some minds. I'm gonna be honest. May not be for the hard R's or the hard people who are, they're gonna.
So you think so? You think that made a difference?
100%. I mean, here's what I'm saying. I'm looking
Brian.
As humans do, we're consistently looking for, like, what are the reasons for certain things. I think that had to play a role. I do. I honestly do. I do think that.
For who? For who?
Listen, Brian. Not for Republicans.
Because damn well there ain't no Republican out there. Like, if you are still a MAGA Republican, you do not care about the dysfunction of Republican leadership, because the dysfunction of Republican leadership has been on display since 2016.
I think there are people who are considered or called rhinos now that are
and independents and
independents. Yes, the independents, the people in the middle that don't know, that are on the fence. I think people who are sick of where MAGA Republicans have taken the Republican Party and have blown it up, were pissed off, that old Republican guard. I think they definitely are like, fuck this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Either stayed home, withheld their vote, or I don't know. I don't want to say that they switched their vote to Democrat. I don't want to say that because I don't have enough data to support that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say that. But
they maybe
I think that had a role.
I will say this one thing that I'm seeing, because I'm scrolling Twitter as we talk. I'm checking out all the things. Again, Virginia has maintained control. Democrats have maintained control of Congress in that state. They to effectively say they will not be able to allow Youngkin's agenda to pass. Also, though, here's one thing that's pretty interesting. We talked about Mississippi, you and I on the phone, getting here. Turned out it's low. So now we realize, now we're seeing tweets saying for as much hype as Mississippi government, the MS governor's race got in terms of national attention, in terms of like effort to get out the vote, voter turnout today looks poor across the board among all portions of the electorate. What that means is this: that number one, had Black people in Mississippi come out to vote, it would have garnered a win for the Democratic governor of the state. As a native of the state of Mississippi, a proud native. Like, I'm very proud to say to everyone in the world that I was born and raised in the state of Mississippi, matriculated through the educational system in the state of Mississippi. I was talking to my sisters, and they really could not articulate to me why Brandon Presley should be governor of Mississippi, other than the fact that he's a Democrat. And that indicates that his campaign and the Democratic Party of Mississippi and this country had not done a good job of educating the citizens of Mississippi. Now, it is a possibility that this race could go into a runoff because there was a Black woman on the ballot, as well as Brandon Presley and Tate Reeves. She dropped out of the race, but she did it too late to be off the ballot. Why was she on there in the first place? Well, we know why she was on there, because those are the dirty games Republicans play to win elections. But definitely her presence on that ballot, with her name being recognizable and Black, probably hurt Brandon Presley. It is possible it will go into a runoff. And if that happens, I think that it's a strong chance Brandon Presley could win. But if it doesn't go to a runoff, I think that his goose is cooked and he won't get it. But I will say that the fact that we're even discussing Mississippi and the governor's race in Mississippi is a big deal.
Yeah.
It shows progress for Democrats. It is Democratic progress, and I think I'm proud of that. Brian, as we look at 20, okay, what are you going to say, and then I'll ask my question.
Yeah. So this was the second thing I was going to say, because I agree with what you're saying. The first part was that I think that the Republican disarray in the House of Representatives definitely played a role. I think so. But the second thing that I wanted to put out there is that a lot of people right now in the media are saying, well, for instance, Brandon Presley is, I'm sorry, not Brandon Presley. Andy Beshear has outpaced his numbers in his last election. And they're saying, well, oh, he's outdone Biden in like pretty much all the districts, or all the counties, right? And so he's like, oh, well, but my thing is that that's not a negative thing for Biden. That's a positive thing. That means that there are more people that are willing to vote for the agenda of the Democratic agenda in that state, in the state of Kentucky, than did before. So I think that translates well for 2024. I think that that's a positive thing. They're trying to make this seem like the media, and obviously we know the media is always on some bullshit. The media's trying to make this seem like this is a negative thing for Biden. Like, oh, well, Andy Beshear has done way better. He's overperformed Joe Biden. But I'm like, that's a positive thing. We want the candidate on an off year to outperform what the president did in 2020 and what he did in his previous election as well, so that can translate for a positive. Like, am I wrong in that? Like, am I crazy?
You're absolutely right. Like, you do want it to be an increase. The fact that Andy Beshear is outperforming Joe Biden indicates that Joe Biden is going to pick up more votes in the state of Kentucky, and it's going to lead to a possible flip for that state to finally turn blue in the presidential election in 2024. It means that and again, the platform of the Democratic Party is one that resonates with the people. And it just is a lot and again, you have all these polls coming out. Number one, which I think we talked about how we don't necessarily trust the polls or believe the polls. What we're not seeing are opposite. There are polls that said the exact opposite too, that no one's giving any credibility or headlines to. So I'm going to do a whole piece of content around the other polls.
Breaking news.
That shows what Mississippi is. Tate Reeves won, right?
No, breaking news. The mayoral race in Houston, the nation's fourth largest city, is going to a runoff between Democrats John Whitmire and Sheila Jackson Lee.
That's disappointing. I really wanted, Sheila Jackson Lee to win it outright, but hopefully she will be able to do so. But that's kind of questionable that she's, with her name recognition and her support from national Democrats is going to a runoff. It makes me think she may not be able to pull this off. And Tate Reeves, according to several sources, reputable sources, they've called it. Decision Desk HQ has called it, as well as Scripps News. They both called the Mississippi governor's race decisively for Tate Reeves. We'll see if that happens. Here's a question I have for you, Brian.
Yeah.
Something I think that we need to talk about. I think we talk about it every day. I think it's something we need to be talking about a whole lot. I'm going to ask the question, then I'm going to, because I do want to also talk. I had a good point to make about Andy Bashir and Daniel Cameron, but I want to talk about, what needs to happen today. We have a year, give or take several days, until the 2024 election. What are some things that Democrats need to do consistently between now and then to ensure that we win the White House, that we keep the White House, that we keep the Senate, and that we regain control of the House?
This is always the question.
It is the question.
It's the question. We have to continue coming on the airway. I think undoubtedly so. Us coming on these airwaves and bringing the message and bringing the facts is working. I think people are listening. I think our message, and again, when I say our message, I'm not just saying the activists. I'm not just saying me. I'm not just saying Kenny. I'm saying all of us. I'm saying all of us. I'm including Tiff in that. I'm including Aaron Shantae. I'm including Renee,
Jose, Kyvan,
Chris Mowry,
Chris and Harry, Oliviana, every single independent commentator, journalist out there who's like, we give a damn and we really are going to do the best we can to educate people on the issues. I agree.
We need more. We just need more of, and by the way, people may not like this. We need just bring out all political discourse, everybody from all sorts, all sides. And here's the reason why I say that, because everybody has to become aware. There has to be some intervention points in every facet of life. Like, this is not just going to be within echo chambers and bubbles. Like, we're going to need, unfortunately, the Christian walkers. We're going to need the fucking, I forget what his name is, Jeffrey Mead. We're going to need these people.
Need them for what?
That we need these people to continue their discourse, because we need people to, like, we riff off of that shit. And we need to combat that misinformation. The problem is when we get into these places where it's just only the people that we know that is listening, and it just becomes these echo chambers and these bubbles. I'm saying we need heavy political discourse from all facets, so that this just becomes something that we all talk about as a society. We need a culture shift and we need a paradigm shift. And I know that sounds radical for people, because some people are like, well, shut their asses up. No, we need political discourse to be vibrant and to be diverse, and we need people to talk about this shit in general, because then we get into a place where we get into like taboo, or we can't say this, we can't say that. No, let's fucking talk about everything. These Republicans are saying private parts out loud now, and what's good about it is that no longer.
Yeah, where are those people though, Brian? Like, you bring up a good point. Like, I'm thinking and racking my brain. I have not seen any, any of the old school conservative hype house on TikTok or any platforms.
Here's what I will say.
I don't see them. The conservatives, the young conservatives, have definitely gone silent on my feeds. I don't see them anymore. Now, you still see Candace Owens doing what Candace Owens does. You still see Nick Fuentes, or whatever his name is, doing what Nick does. But I don't see the Christian Walkers or the next generation or the next iteration of Christian Walker out there. I think these young people have been soundly defeated and feel defeated, the young conservatives, because they're fighting a losing battle, and it really hurts to constantly lose.
Yes, and let me say this: they're still there. They're just not as loud as we are now.
Are they still there?
They're still there. They're still there. We just don't hear them. The same way.
They come up in your DMs?
They come, well, not in my DMs, but they come in my. They come on the feed, right? Like, these people are still there. I think the difference. I think the difference now is that we have more voices on our side that are speaking up and speaking out. And I think that we're starting to drown them out, because there's reasons why the Republicans want to shut down TikTok. they know they're losing on the airwaves. I mean, it is what it is. They can say all they want that it's a Chinese company, which it is, which is true. They can say all they want that China's trying to take our data, which may be true. That there may be some validity to that. I'm not gonna take away the
Did they
validity.
get your driver's license? Did they get your driver's license?
No, they didn't get my driver's
Like,
license.
did you have to? So you didn't have to submit a picture of your driver's license when you were getting authorized for the
No.
creativity beta program.
No, I didn't have to do that.
They had me put a picture of my driver's license front and back.
They didn't do that shit for me. They don't got that shit for me. I'll tell you that. But here's the thing: like there may be some validity to that, but that's not the real reason why
I hope they don't clone me. I hope I'm not gonna become like somebody's gonna kidnap me and then clone me.
But here's what I will say: that I will say the voiceover shit that does scare me.
Where they can take, like, you get your voice and then they can start replicating your voice onto to AI shit.
Yes. What happens if they trying to frame you for committing murder?
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what they could possibly do and how nefarious all of this is. I agree with that. And looking at what Democrats can do, Democrats need to spend money. Democrats need to spend money. Democrats need to really mobilize all that they can and get as many voices as they can involved in the fight. When Sexy Red said that she was voting for Donald Trump, it went viral. When Waka Flocka Flame said he was voting for Donald Trump, it goes viral. We need to see celebrities out and proudly supporting President Biden and Vice President Harris and highlighting the accomplishments of the administration.
Yes.
We are not winning in the pop culture battle now because we're not putting forth the effort. And so I hate to say it, but that to me is a worthwhile effort and a good use of Democratic money. I'm also tired of Democrats emailing me, asking me for donations, and I'm not seeing the money being used. When content creators are saying to the White House, you need to give us some money, or going to different, like, where's the money to do all this work that you're wanting? We can't pay for that. Then why are you asking me for money? I have 18 different emails received in the last 2 days asking for money. Just tonight, with the dang election results coming in, if I go to my Gmail that gets all those emails, special dispatch, Biden confronts limits of U.S. leveraging Israel, asking for money. Here's one that came in, breaking news. That's another one asking for money. Oh yeah, breaking news. Huge news in Ohio. Your gifts can help protect abortion access. You ain't getting no gift. You ain't getting no gift. You ain't getting no money. I don't owe you anything. You're not a bill. Okay. So I will donate if the money makes a difference, but I just don't see it happening. And my best friend said, Mississippi, sad face. It is what it is. Black people in Mississippi don't come out to vote. They don't turn out. I'm not surprised at the outcome. I did not anticipate that Brandon Presley was going to be the one. The one could come, and Democrats could have won the state of Mississippi, but they didn't do the work. It can't be based upon a campaign. It can't be the Brandon Presley campaign to win the state. It should have been a full-fledged effort by the whole entire Democratic Party in the United States to really put in resources into that state, to really bring in celebrities and big names and big people that have the respect of the 40% Black electorate that we needed to turn out to vote, that they didn't get out to vote. So I'm not surprised. I just, the National Democratic Party has ignored the South continuously until Stacey Abrams made them pay attention to Georgia, and they're still doing it. I'm also, Brian, surprised that Republicans thought that Daniel Cameron had a chance to be governor. Like, I was baffled. And you know why I was baffled?
Republicans ain't ready for that.
He's black. It doesn't matter how much this man obstructed justice and refusing to arrest the killers of Breonna Taylor. It doesn't matter how many raccoon games he's willing to play in the trash cans of Republican Kentucky to appease his paymasters. The voters of Kentucky are still going to vote for a white Democrat over a black Republican, because that is the way it works in a state like Kentucky. And I'm stunned that Republicans in Kentucky allowed him to get on the ballot.
Well, like they thought Byron Donalds, was it Byron Donaldson or Byron Donalds?
Yeah, it's Byron Donaldson. Mm-hmm.
Byron Donaldson, they thought that he was going to be the fucking Speaker of the House. Fuck out of here. They were not going to allow that to happen. So I hate to say it. But Republicans are not ready for any non-white candidate. It just is what it is what it is. And they better look look forward, look inward, I should say. They should look inward.
Tim Scott needs to drop out tonight. He needs to drop out right now. He has taken enough slaps in this. He needs to drop out right now. He doesn't have a chance. He needs to drop out right now tonight and just not even participate in tomorrow's debate. And speaking of tomorrow's debate, do you think that we're going to see anything tomorrow?
About what? About the debate?
Like I really don't believe that Donald Trump is going to be able to run for office. I think that Donald Trump is about to take a big L in New York. He's going to lose that civil case, clearly. The realities of his business dealings and records are going to become more publicly known. He's going to lose in Georgia and be found guilty of a felony, of a criminal offense, a crime. And I don't believe that he's going to be able to run for president of the United States of America. With that being said, someone's going to have to be the nominee, and it's going to be someone from tomorrow night's stage.
I think the only person who really has a chance is Nikki.
I don't know if Republicans are willing to unite behind a female to be the presidential nominee, because let me tell you, the evangelical focus of the party clearly says it has to be a man. The evangelical faith says that those women are subjects of the men. You can't have it happen.
I think they will make her the nominee, but she won't win. Which makes her dead on arrival, which is great for us.
You think that Nikki Haley would get it? Because I think it'll be. I still have to say I think they'll put up DeSantis. I think they will vote for DeSantis over Nikki Haley. Not that they should, but I'm just saying I think that's what's going to happen because he's a man. I don't think they would allow a woman to get the nominee across this country.
DeSantis has been fading into the background.
Trump, but when Trump is out, what's going to happen to him then?
No, I'm saying on that debate stage. On the debate stage,
he's not good.
He's not good. He's just not good. I think Nikki Haley. I mean, even Nikki Haley did an interview with Charlamagne the God on the Daily Show. Charlamagne the God was co-hosting the thing, and
wait, Nikki Haley was on his show.
Nikki Haley was on the Daily Show, being interviewed by Charlamagne the God. And unfortunately, I hate to say it again, she's the only one from that side that sounds remotely moderate, and that's saying a lot for the Republican Party at this point. So I think that they will. I mean, look, they'll put a candidate like what's his name? You just said it, from Kentucky.
You got Daniel Cameron.
You'll have a candidate. They'll put up a candidate, but they won't galvanize to vote him in. So I think she'll be the person that comes out strongest in the end, but she's not going to win. And then here's the other thing. The other thing is I think that the storyline for me has run stale. I'm going to watch it because that's just the type of person that I am. But I'm going to watch it, and I know that I can already tell you what's going to happen. And we talked about this offline. Number one, Ron DeSantis is going to come off robotic. Vivek Ramaswamy is going to say some Barack Obama line.
And something controversial.
Chris Christie is going to attack Donald Trump, get booed. It's the same playbook. I think here's the question. The question is whether the moderators are going to bring up what happened tonight. Because I think Abby Phillips, as much as smoke as she gets online, Abby Phillips from CNN was interviewing Chris Christie, and she was trying to get him to say, okay, look, clearly abortion rights is a losing issue for Republicans. It's a losing issue. Would you still, if anti-abortion, groups started coming to you as if you became president, would you still support an anti-abortion legislation, federal ban? And he wasn't willing to say yes. He was like, well, I want to continue this 50 state experiment, which is what they're saying now to pivot to say, well, I know that this is a losing issue for us, so let me just shut the fuck up
But
on it.
let's let every state individually vote and let
Correct.
every state put it on the ballot to see where it goes.
Correct. So this is
Wow.
the tide is turning, and they're starting to see that this shit is losing, and they need to change their fucking plan. I think they're too deep into the hole with this abortion shit to not put it on the ballot.
It really was a.
What are you going to say now? What are they going to say now to pivot?
What is there? Yeah, you can't pivot from the issue. And what is your issue? Like one thing that I think is pretty interesting, and like we saw today, where the Republican leaders of the House were giving space and voice to the Israeli hostages. They are really courting heavily the Jewish community in this moment of division. Now, I don't think it's going to work, but they're making the play for those votes. They are doing it, and they are going for that community in this moment. One thing, yeah, it was all over this. It was on, they had a huge press conference today that was very, very well received. Republicans did, and I was like, why didn't? But Democrats came right back tonight and countered by censoring Rashida Tlaib, which is going to really anger a lot of progressives. It really pissed off a lot of the far left, but that was, I think, kind of like they didn't have much of a choice, but to the Democrats who voted with Republicans to censor her. So the Kentucky governorship maintained Democrat. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court maintained control to Democrats. Ohio abortion passed. Ohio weed passed. Virginia Senate held. Virginia House flipped. This was and so what 46 has done says just an absolute bloodbath. I think this was a horrible night for Republicans. I wonder how mainstream media is going to flip this and how they're going to report on this, because every time you see, there's no way this week with George Stephanopoulos will praise the Democrats. There's no way that Fox News is going to give any credibility to strong Democratic outcome in this. They never do. So I wonder how they're going to flip this around to make it seem like Democrats are still in trouble.
Well, I told you they were still doing that tonight by saying, oh, well, Bashir is outperforming, and Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to throw, oh, well, and some people have been saying fucking Laura Coates, and I thought Laura Coates was good, man, but Laura Coates was over there talking about some, this is for some Democratic strategists, this is a great night, but I know they're still shaking about 2024. Like, come on, man.
Unbelievable. We have to definitely blow this up and push against that. If nothing else, I need to find that clip. That we just find that clip.
Yeah. So again, I think this was an amazing night for Democrats. This was the clip for.
And I think a lot of people owe Joe Biden an apology. I actually think the folks who, I think a lot of people owe Joe Biden an apology today because, honey, I watched the news. I was sitting on some of the panels. The people had very critical words for the president. He need to drop out. I don't know. Let's just actually think.
She's right. He's right.
I love it. She nailed it. Now that's about to go on TikTok. I'm gonna make that dang TikTok tonight, and I'm going to post that bad boy in the morning. I'm gonna gloat for a whole day. I'm going to smear it. I'm gonna smear it all over social media so the world can get a good taste of it, because I've not been feeling great about anything because of social media and negativity aimed at Biden, aimed at Democrats. But this right here really does tell a different story. It really does. I'm really excited. This is indeed a great night for Democrats in America.
Yeah.
Hands down. I'm looking and scrolling Twitter, and it's just, it's clear. This tonight was a win for Democrats.
Yeah, this Newsmax host apparently said. Let's do another clip.
It certainly was.
Y'all, we live
Straight
right
from Newsmax. This is straight from Newsmax
Straight
of
from
all
Newsmax.
people. Put it up. Put it up.
It does seem like the Republican Party generally has a real problem with winning. It certainly was in the midterms here and now in this one as well. And you wonder, do we have the right people in place to be putting the messaging together to the people that are supposed to be there to get the early vote out to do these jobs? You wonder about the RNC. Do we have the right people running the show? Because we're not doing something right. I think that's very obvious. As far as,
maybe that's Newsmax right there. Newsmax telling you straight like it is. It doesn't seem like Republicans have a problem with winning. I mean, sorry, it does seem like Republicans have a problem with winning. Absolutely.
It's baffling to me that they think that they wouldn't. They're so out of touch with the American people. But social media and the news would make you think otherwise because they're not being honest, they're not being forthcoming, and they're not telling the truth. We'll be back, I know, tomorrow night to talk to do the breakdown of the third Republican debate. But we got to come up with a name, Brian. We need a name for the show. We need a name. We need a name. It's part of a strategy. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just going to say that shout out to Yusuf Salam, exonerated Central Park 5 member who won the New York City Council seat. If that is not big news, if that is
look at God.
If that is not an indicator that the justice arc has come back to the right side. I'm just saying
that the arc of justice, what did it say? It bends. I don't know the quote shit, but it's the quote. The arc of justice has been in the right direction. And that is great news. That is great news. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot to continuously digest. I'm going to be up for a while. Like, I'm not going to bedtime soon. I'm going to filter through. I was able to tonight, I wasn't expecting this good news. So, I mean, I didn't even think about that we would be going live. I spent the night with our good friend, Sir Ken, as he celebrated his birthday. I thought it was a good day to get out of the house. This is the second year this is the day my mom passed away in 2021. So, I tried not to be just, still. I wanted to, keep the day moving. So just to, because I know tomorrow will be a better day. And this is a great way to end the day. This is good news. It's uplifting news. It's hopeful news as we go into the real 2024 election season. There's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of education that has to happen. There's a lot of truth to tell. There's a lot of lies to combat. But this is definitely a great boost for Biden, the Democrats on a national level, what we're seeing tonight. And with that being said, Brian, I guess to be fair, some people would say that this is a sign that what the national Democrats are doing is working. I'm sitting here trashing them, giving them, lashing after lashing after lashing, when maybe they're winning, not in spite of, but because of. Am I wrong?
Well, Zach, let me ask you this question. How do you really feel about Jamie Harrison?
I have never been a fan of Jamie Harrison because he lost his race. He lost. I don't believe in rewarding losers because there's a whole lot of winners out there that know what to do and they figured it out. And I feel as though we need to take those winners and replicate that formula. That's what I've always felt. I feel like the Democratic Party will give someone like Jamie Harrison make him chair the DNC as a consolation prize, as we are proud of you. That's a good boy. That's that a boy, as opposed to giving to the strategist who has the hunt, the fire, and the fight to win these elections. So, that's how I feel. But again, maybe I'm wrong. Like, I'm not. I people always. I don't get enough credit for like admitting that I'm wrong when I'm wrong, or being even open to being wrong. People think I'm always like, you think you're always right because I have a lot of opinions. I absolutely will say if I'm wrong. And so maybe I'm wrong about the DNC. Maybe I'm wrong about them lacking strategy. Maybe tonight is proof of that. I'll think about that and I'll get more like feedback.
I'm going to ask you the same question tomorrow. So you ever reflect on it?
I'm going to reflect. I'm going to do some deep reflection.
Tomorrow after the debate, I'll ask the same question.
And I will give Jamie his credit. I'll grab him by his two big cheeks and give him a kiss on the forehead. Now I'll say, shake them cheeks out, Chippy, and we'll see if anything falls out.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know, if I could sing, I would literally right now sing the Chippendales Rescue Rangers song, but I don't know how to sing very well, so I won't do it.
I don't know that song.
But he definitely, Jamie looks a little bit like a chipmunk.
Until you said it now. I didn't see it.
He looks like a chipmunk. I mean, it is what it is.
Now that you said it, I see it. Tomorrow night, everybody, join us. We are coming with the Republican debate. We're gonna
as soon as the debate's over, we're going live.
What is that? 10 o'clock? 11 o'clock?
Should be 10 o'clock. Giving a live, raw, and unfiltered, like laying it out there. So that'll be tomorrow night, my friend. So yeah, and again, keep thinking of a title, and I'll see you guys then.
All right.